Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are live, but we're live in a different way today, and we're live in a different space. You can't quite see my surroundings, but you can see the fact that I am not at my desk. Neither am I in my bed. Neither am I alone. I'm not alone, and you can see I'm not alone. I'll do that, and then it doesn't matter. I think I'm that way, but who cares? It's somebody with me. Look, just over there. And I'm MJ, as you can see, because it says so on the screen. So I'm not expecting anyone to be particularly clever this morning. It's Saturday, the 2nd of March. It is 2024 still, and we already have another guest. And I'm hoping he doesn't mind coming on stage. I think I should ask him to wave at me if he's all right coming. Yeah, he's coming. He's coming. Look at that. You see, just when you think it's all over, it is now, because now we've got an extra special guest. Just going to bring him up, and then I'll carry on babbling like I do. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, Chris, as well.
Good morning, Adam.
See where he's moved? Have you seen where our Chris has moved? I want that piano in my house.
Oh, wow.
It's not, it's a background, but we can imagine. We can imagine, can't we? If Chris is moving there, I'm moving in with him. I don't know what Al will say about that, but I am. So there we are. And he wanted for his piano. Good morning.
That's a cool piano.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is. I'd love that house. I was saying that, well, we're going to talk about it, but you can't see it because I've grayed myself out somehow and I can't turn my background off. But there we are. Nearly some of it. You can almost see it, but it's a secret, you see. You shouldn't really be able to see it. That's what I drew, basically, 2 years ago, and here I am sitting in it. So we're going to talk about that in a minute, because this was my journal. For anybody that doesn't journal, journaling, as you can see, it's actually got writing in it. It's not just, some people buy journals and then they avoid the point by not writing in them. Anyway, I did that for a bit.
Because it doesn't come with the instructions, that's why.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I bought loads of journals and not done them, but I've also bought loads of books and not read them. However, I think that I'm moving through these stages of procrastination, and I'll tell you why. Because if you think that seeing is believing, you're wrong. So that's the first thing I want to tell everybody. You're wrong. Jew said to me, he's not here, I don't know what he's doing. I was talking to our Jew this morning at 6 o'clock. He's the other director of inclusion, which is on the top. There we are. I don't know. Anyway, in the corner somewhere. There we are. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. The Chris where corner points. There we are. The corner where Chris points. I tell you, don't you love it when I'm working with adults with dementia? I worry that I probably am on my way, early onset, maybe mine. But title this morning, I'm going to be reading because, of course, I need to. I'm getting old now. I can't remember things. I shouldn't be talking about old. You can't say that anymore. It's not PC. I'm going to give away one of these free spiritual awakenings. I did one last week. I tell you, I've done them all week for myself. I'm just greedy. I've had a spiritual awakening every day. I mean, that's just greedy, isn't it? Can you imagine every morning waking up and going, I know what I'm going to do today. I'm going to have a spiritual awakening. Well, that's what I've been doing, which I think is fantabulous. And I've got to vibe 34. And the reason I have is because there's more than 30 days in a month. So here we are. And I've ended up a day ahead. And the reason for that is because one day, one vibe, one spiritual awakening wasn't good enough. I needed two. I think I had two on a Friday. Like having fish on Friday. If I had an extra one just for being good.
Sort of a bog off, really, yeah.
You say that again?
Sort of a bog off. Buy one, get one free.
Buy one, you get
yeah.
With accessibility partners. You get a buy one free. We are a bog off. I was born a bog off, Chris. I was. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember saying.
Our Trey's personal assistant started yesterday. So now Trey's a bog off. I think it's fantastic. It means if I say, Trey, can I have some dinner? His assistant makes it. I think that's fantastic. It's like devolving responsibility, isn't it?
Well, you are in Wales.
Of course they will. Anyway,
Literally devolved administration.
I'm just practicing. I'm just practicing. I'm in practice. Talking of which, the reason that I've got this on, please forgive me wearing the slap. But tonight I'm going out for dinner and I'm coaching between now and then I'm going for dinner. And I looked this morning, I went, if I go out for dinner looking like this and wearing my pajamas, people will be offended. No, I wasn't wearing my pajamas, but
Don't wear your pajamas. Don't.
It's too much for me. No, so I thought, put something on his dog. I'm going out with another woman, so she might have got dressed too. I think that's a good idea. Anyway, so
Probably a requirement, especially March in Cardiff. But hey,
hey, it's not in Rotherham. I grew up. Sorry, I don't think you should say that. In South Yorkshire. In South Yorkshire, we used to say, "Oh, are you Nesh?" If you put a coat on, right? Now mind you slap. If you put a coat on, people say, "So were you? Are you Nesh? What? Are you too Nesh to be not wearing a coat? What?" So if you wear a coat, you're called Nesh. So wearing clothes was seen as a negative thing in Rotherham. I saw the same in Newcastle when my middle one went to university. All the girls went out in their underwear. Honest. I know I shouldn't say that either, but they do. In Newcastle, everybody, well, all the girls, go out in their underwear. They forget to put the clothes on. I don't know. That's what I thought. I actually said to Joe, I said, do you not, I feel overdressed. I felt like I shouldn't have my trousers on or then it was strange. Anyway, so
moving on.
We're back here, moving on. Seeing is believing. Well, I'm not sure it is. It wasn't Newcastle.
Evidently.
It has been in Rotherham. It was when I had two, what they called, spiritual awakenings yesterday at once. You can see why I'm kidding. And then this morning, me and Jew decided, he said, well, I'll believe it when I see it. I said, you what? I said, it's all happening because Jew's in a care home, just in case anybody doesn't know. And if they don't, they've not been listening. Jew's in a care facility for the elderly. I like talking about people that aren't here. Hey up, we've got a guest. Goodness me. Matt Rowden's here. I'm going to let him in a minute. Yeah, he's in a care facility. Matt knows because he sent him a picture. We can talk to Matt in a minute. I'm so excited. So I said to him, it's all happening. Access to Work's here. We've got the eye gaze. We've got the quote. He had a wheelchair assessment on Monday with a new man called Richard. He's amazing. The 4x4, the taxi things are in. You know all this, yeah? And he said, I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it. I said, oh, that's harsh. To be honest, it's harsh. But he's been sat there for 3 years, so I get it. I was thinking about our first client. 3 years and you've just ordered his equipment. I'm very proud of you. 2021 was his award that you've just sourced that equipment for 3 years. So in inclusion, everybody's welcome, just in case you wondered. And you can stay as long as you want. And when you get to doing the stuff the government wants, well, we get there and it's not your fault. It's usually the government's. And if you're not doing any of it, I don't blame you. That's the other one. If you're not doing any of it, I don't blame you. If you don't want to do anything the government suggested, don't. Because frankly, they don't know how to do it. So unless you've got a handhold from Accessibility Partners, which I founded and you work for, and Adam's benefited from, and Jew's going to when he believes it, when he sees it. Oh dear, we're going to go on to that in a minute, because believing it is actually receiving. That I've told you the answer. Sorry, I kind of told you the punchline, but that's all right. Yeah, believing is receiving. And before we read this, I'm going to bring Matt in because I can't leave him hanging around. I can't see him, but I can hear him. Let's see if I can hear him. Let's see. Matt, are you there? Matt, can you hear me? No, I don't think he can. I think he's running. I'm going to remove him in case he's just running. There we are. He's muted, but he's running. I'm going to leave him there because I don't think we've ever had an audio visual without a visual on the run from a person that didn't know they were on stage. I don't know whether, shall I remove him? I don't know.
No, leave it there. He might.
There we go. He might finish running. He'll be out running. He'll have seen me on my Instagram pumping iron, and he'll have been running now down the road going, MJ's in the gym. I'm going on the road. Because it's not seen as believing. Even when you see me on Instagram, it didn't mean I was there this morning. I wasn't. It wasn't this morning. People might have thought, oh, there she is. It wasn't. They were just videos that I took when I was in the gym, not this morning. I wasn't in the gym this morning. I was talking to Jew about believing. So I said to him, right, I have a vibe for you. He said, why? I said, because you can't believe what I read this morning. Honest. I said, believing is receiving. He said, no, it ain't. All right. You probably heard or even said, I'll believe it when I see it. That's what I heard this morning from Julian Goodwin. It's a common saying, but it's just not how miracles work. That's got to be my favourite statement of the week. It's just not how miracles work, MJ. It's just not how it is. However, I'm going to tell you how they work, which I think is amazing. That you get a book. It was $12.99. I'm not being funny, but $12.99, right? And you don't just get a declaration of light. Can you believe that? You get 77. What are they? Spiritual awakenings. 77. I think I should be the marketing for this book. £13. 77 spiritual awakenings. So believing is receiving. You'll see it when you believe it. Try believing that whatever you need in life, it's possible for you to have it. And it is possible. Do you know why? I'm going to tell you. Like a blooming, like you're at school, like you sat on the carpet with the teacher. Now you remember, we're going to tell you a story now. After that, you can have some juice. That's what it's like in the care facility for the individuals I support. They get fed juice all the time. Would you like some more dilute? Do you want some more orange? Lady said the other day, she went, orange? That's the strangest looking colour orange I've ever seen. Well, I didn't know what to say because it was orange. I said, well, I think it's all right. And the girl opposite said to her, it's drinkable. I thought, well, that's a good job, isn't it? I said, I'm glad they think that what they have given at the end of it, I'm glad they think it's drinkable. Well, it's drinkable. She went, oh, all right, then I drank it. Yeah, orange. You are, I'm going to tell you, not without your orange, though. You don't get orange squash off me. We're virtual. I can't provide you drinks. Well, I wonder if one day we'll be able to. You imagine Uber with a taxi coming here, have a coffee. Just you could, couldn't you? I think that's a new thing. Meet and greet and coffee. You could order coffee to be delivered to everybody's houses that came online, and then you'd have a virtual coffee. But literally, I just think that's genius. Sounds a bit complicated to organise.
This is work better.
Are you following this, Chris?
Yes, just yes.
It's only because he's used to it. Yeah, we're off on one today.
I'm still waiting for enlightenment.
I'm being unlimited. We're going to be unlimited
Don't
together.
worry, it's coming.
You haven't. The reason you're waiting is because you haven't had a spiritual awakening yet. Hang on.
I'll send you 13 quid.
I bought the book. You don't need to, but you can. You can all donate to Inclusion. Hang on a minute. We'll help you. Look, we can do this. Watch this. They are. If you want to send me 13 quid, send it to Inclusion instead, because we're raising money for the first disabled, well, not the first because we've made hundreds, but the first funded disabled entrepreneur. We've worked out how to make them fund themselves. However, there's some that can't. And for them that can't, we need 10 grand. We're nearly there. Give us the rest. That sounds a bit harsh, but it is how I feel today, because we're unlimited. We're unlimited in our capability to create because are you ready for this? I could hardly believe it when I read it. You are the universe. You are the universe. I was like, somebody else has worked it out. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, maybe they went over to the other side. Because when I died, just after COVID, because I was reading the other day. In fact, I went to a medical seminar about when to withdraw life, treatment, because we have to eventually. Which was a bit harsh, and I had to Instagram a little bit of it. I had to record a little bit for Fran and send it, because he said they shouldn't if they put a DNA, if they withdraw treatment in any way, they should go to court, especially if the family aren't happy. Well, I'm not sure who's going to go, yep, do that anyway, but off you go, bye. But But if the family aren't happy and there's a dispute, they should go to court. They shouldn't just do it and wait. But when it's gone to court, the courts have said you waited ages before you asked us, didn't you? You see. So I think that they didn't do it right with me. But anyway, after I died, when I died, during dying, I don't know that bit, I realized I was the universe, which is a big thing to realize all at once. Yeah, that I was the universe and the universe was me and that everything was connected and there was no separation. Well, when I read this in here, when I literally went and it went and I was like, what? Because you are the universe. I was like, yes. Now, the other day I said to Jew, and I literally said this, and if he comes on, he'll tell you. Your body is made up of particles of former stars. And I don't mean like, Ronnie O'Sullivan. I mean, I'm not different parts of people on the telly. I'm made up of stardust. I am stardust. And I said to Julian, I said, it doesn't matter. I can't say Julian when he's here, he'll kill me. I said to Jew, you see, we all do that. I call him Julian when he's here, you all call me Mandy. I'm joking. I'm not. I've heard you. Yeah, Jew. I said to Jew the other day, I couldn't call him Jew at first. I found it really hard. I said to Jew the other day, I said, because we're all stardust. What makes you say that? I said, because we're all things, we all matter, and we all go back to the earth and then we die. That's what we do. So obviously we are. So this person agrees with me. We're stardust. I'll tell you what it is. It's still Vex King, which I just think is a great name. I'm not vexing, I'm Vex King. I'll have to stop now. So, so back to that. We're made up of former star particles. Every strand and cell of your being is in touch. This is massive. Oh, it is. It's everything. With everything that is, was, and ever will be. And so you are the embodiment of pure potential. Like I am everything and I can achieve everything because I am everything. Wow. It's so simple, isn't it? Like you are everything, so there is no limit. Oh, all right. Only the limit you put on it yourself. Unlimited potential, because the universe is unlimited in its capacity to share and create. Well, it is when you believe it. So everything you want is available to you now. Just believing this opens up the floodgates to miracles. It does, because when you believe it, you look for it. And I'll talk about Darren Brown in a minute. You have to remind me the things I've told you I'm circling back to. Hey, good morning. The great Matt Rowden. We see him and we hear him. We might hear him in a minute. We see him. So it's not believing is receiving. It's seeing is believing now. I said it wasn't, but it is, because I've just seen Matt. It must be both. Oh my God. Holding two things that are concurrently true. No, I'm not sure that's okay. We need to be polarized, don't we? So yeah, it opens up the floodgates to miracles. You're looking cool. You're looking good. You are looking good. You are looking hot. You're looking hot, Matt. Your life, you're all looking hot.
I don't know how to respond. I don't know how to respond to this, so I'm just going to.
I don't know how to respond to it, mate. You just look hot. It's not my fault, is it? I've watched you over the last 3 years getting hotter and hotter. Your life is an opportunity to create the miraculous. Look, he's sat there. He's arrived. And through experiencing the miraculous, you send waves of healing to old wounds while demonstrating. Now, this is the one. I was like, my job is to sort this shit out for future generations, right? I've had enough now. This generational trauma that we've been hanging around with for the last 100 years, I'm a bit tired of it. When I read this, I was like, yeah, so everything is available to you right now. Just believing this opens up the floodgates. Your life is an opportunity to create the miraculous. And through experiencing the miraculous, you send waves of healing to old wounds whilst demonstrating for future generations what is possible. That just did it for me. Show them. If you're going to go on about it, show them. Somebody said to me, why can't these kids do anything? The other day. They literally can't do anything for themselves. I said, who showed them? They said, what? I said, who showed them what to do? I said, we've all been sat on our computers. We forgot to show them how to dig a field and plant a pea and, whatever. Your life is an opportunity to create the miraculous. We've said that. So, what message do you want to leave behind for future generations? What new pathways are you ready to forge? What miracles are you ready to receive? So, the vibe of the day, or this free spiritual awakening that you get out of this book that I bought for 13 quid. I had 2 yesterday. I was greedy, man. Whatever you are seeking is within you now. Embody this. That's a really important word, right? Embody. Embody this and call forth all the miracles you require. My life is a manifestation of my beliefs, thoughts, and feelings. I know that miracles are my birthright. I am capable of manifesting miracles because I am a miracle. I am capable of manifesting miracles because I am a miracle. But you can't say that 3 times without laughing. I am capable of manifesting miracles because I am a miracle. I am pure potential manifest. Stardust, right? I receive what I believe. Oh, how true is that? Can you see why I'm not that attractive? Sorry. You see why Matt is. I receive what I believe. I am ready for miracles, and this is and so it is. Or as witches say, so mote it be, so mote it be, so mote it be. 3 times, thricefold. You know what they said in the Bible: when 2 or more arrive anywhere, God exists. So there we are. We have God within us and without us and amongst us, and we're having spiritual awakenings because that's a given, because we're 2 or more, etc. And we are ready for miracles, and so it is, because they're our birthright. That's just, for me, it was just. Now, I just want to say, I know there are miracles because I drew one. 3 weeks ago, you can't quite see it. I'm going to have to see if you can see it. You probably won't be able to see it today. You'll be able to see it another day. But this, although maybe a bit of it. This basically is where I'm living now. And it's got what I've done. And it's got the fact I did the marathon and the fact that I won, and that anyway, including the house I'm in, and even the setup in the desk, the office that I've created. Like, it literally is. There's a couple of things that I haven't manifest, but this was my MI365 journal that I began, and as I said to people at the beginning, the good thing to do in a journal is actually writing it, because lots of people buy them, but they often fill them in. So I've been looking back at it. So I know that miracles happen because I am a miracle, and I know I'm a miracle because I'm sat here. So I'm wondering how you've raised your vibration, whether you think that seeing is believing, or whether actually you think that these vibes that I've been reading this week. Yesterday was forgiveness is a gift, and today is believing is receiving. And I just think believing is receiving has to be the greatest thing I've read for a wee while. Hey, everybody, I think we should say hello to Matt first, because he's kind of a guest of a guest of a guest. Adam's a guest, but Matt's more of a guest, and then Julian's not even here. Christian's just part of the wallpaper. No, you're a guest. Good morning, Matt. How are you?
Yeah, I'm actually feeling outstanding today. I'm feeling, especially after listening to you for the last sort of 15 minutes. And I watched your Instagram very briefly. I was in a meeting and we shot across different medias this morning, and that came up. A couple of others came up that disturbed me and sent me into this thought mode about money, etc. And I thought, do you know what? At the end of the day, all I have is myself, because I came into this world on my own, and I'm going to leave it on my own. And everything, everything else around me is it's not really relevant to some degree. It's everybody else's relevance. So as long as I know that I'm doing the best by me, and the inner work that I'm doing on myself at the moment it's so far more intense than I can remember when I was younger. So when my dad passed, for example, my dad passed when I was just turning 16. And so I did a lot of inner work without really recognizing that I was doing the work. But for a survival state, I had to be there for other people, my mum, my brother, etc., and the business that they had. that I went on this journey that I was uneducated in. It was just all about self-development and self-acknowledgement, and really, I'm gonna fuck up, but it doesn't matter because I'm not looking at fucking up. I'm just gonna live my life, as best as I can, because if no one's prepared to educate me, and I am asking for help indirectly, then I'm left alone to do what I need to do and survive. And I did that for about 5 or 6, 7 years, ending on off this route that it wasn't me, it wasn't who I really was at the time. It was all I had. But I was always criticized at the age of sort of 26 up to about the age of 40 for being less than 40 actually, probably between 26 and 36. I say about a 10-year stint of being really deep, really confused, really lost, really strange. Everything my brother was told, but he couldn't really take it. And so at the age of 38, he decided to part from planet Earth and go off to another universe. Whereas I decided to stick around and think, hang on a minute, I'm tougher than that. And I can take all the names and anything you want to throw at me, but I can take the fact that if you think I'm deep, it's because you don't understand who I am, but you really want to go there because you're curious to understand how I can think the way I do, given the fact I'm a man, I'm surrounded by loads of women, not in a relationship sense of, ego, more of upbringing. If you imagine me as a little tiger, a little cub surrounded by females, that was my life, right? I was raised by women, my mom, my aunt, loads of my aunts, my family. There wasn't a lot of men around. And when my dad passed, obviously my hero, I was left to behave the way I did. And I probably found myself being able to express the way I did, being surrounded by some really powerful women. And that did get knocked out of me when I was about 40. I got to around 40 years old and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to give into all that shit because my circle, my environment right now is live for the moment, enjoy your life. I've got my goals, I've got my dreams, I've got my aspirations, and I'm going to get there one day, but I can't keep going deep because the people that I'm around don't understand it. They think it's complicated, and I don't want to be told anymore how complicated I make things because I don't believe I do. But here I find myself on this journey now, probably for the last, I'm going to say, 6 years, where I've gone back to where I was in terms of that depth, that inner work, because there was something calling me back then that's calling me now. And I wasn't wrong back then. I was right to believe who I was back then. And the power that I had back then gave me the ability to stand free, stand alone, stand happy in my own world, my own space, and for others to try and work it out or walk away. What's interesting is I've married a lady, a woman that now gets where I'm coming from. And I haven't forced it upon her. And I've given all the options to open up and look, I'm changing, all right? I'm changing. Because the girl that I once used to go out with, who left me and broke my heart, drove me to suicide just after my dad died, attempted to take my life. I know this is a bit deep, but it's true. She said to me, I said to her, because she was the love of I loved her. I absolutely loved her. And she said to me, I'm leaving you. And I said, why? And she told me all the reasons why. And because all I used to do was talk about cars and dreams and aspirations and things and just want to race and stuff, It just wasn't her. I said, but I can change. I promise you I can change. And we bought a place in Dulwich in London. Not sure if you're aware of it. We bought a place back then. We worked so hard for it. It was only 18. Anyway, she left me. And I promised her I could change. And her words said, you can never change who you are. And it was that point, it was that pivotal moment that I just thought, you know what? I definitely don't need you in my life. I don't need you. And I don't need people like you in my life that can't see that everything changes in life. Everything changes in life. Nothing is the same from one day to the next. Everything at some point, some level, doesn't matter how big or small, it changes. Anyway, here I am doing my best inner work. And I'm doing my best inner work now because back then I thought I could help people. back then I thought I could help people, but I had no guidance, MJ. No guidance. It's good to see you all, by the way, guys. Good to see you all.
Great to see you.
But I'm doing this inner
You
work,
too,
you
mate.
know? I'm doing this inner work. And I'm doing this inner work, but I'm not doing it for me. I've done it for me a long time ago. But it will always help, right? It will always help. Every car needs an MOT and a service to keep it going, put the right fuel in, etc., etc. But I'm doing this for everyone else. This is not about me. And my daughter's experience in 2022 and what she went through, that was one of my biggest wake-up calls. Biggest wake-up calls to say, get over yourself, Matt. Get out of the way. Take Matt out of the way and just unleash what you've got, my friend, because what you've got is seriously world changing. Do you know what I mean? On so many counts. And I'm doing it now. I was running this morning. I did my run this morning I started at 5:20, as much as I really didn't want to. Did that. That was fine. Got my workouts done. But at the moment, I'm just currently getting my qualification in coaching because people are, recognizing that that's an essential part of going, are you qualified? Yes. Do you know what I mean? But my life experience has qualified me for many years. And what I did in 2004 with the coaching academy, stack loads of paperwork. And, me and paperwork, we're not best friends. We're just not best friends. But I was told the other day I'm a really good writer, so you should enjoy paperwork. So I do. That didn't take long to work out, did it?
It didn't, did it? Really didn't.
But you've got to believe it. Like you said, you've got to believe it. And I love that, and that's my faith. That is my faith. If I don't care, if everything was taken away from me now, MJ, right? I'm talking to all of you. I just refer to MJ, right? Forgive me for that. If everything was taken away from me now, I am guaranteed to survive. I know that. I know that. It doesn't matter. You throw it at me, I will survive. But I do have, and I don't know about you, I do have one of them moments, some occasional moments, and they don't last longer than probably 30 seconds, where I go, can I really be bothered with it though? Can I really be bothered with all this? Like, you watch something on social media and you go, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? Why am I even bothering? No, I'm going to be a crook. I'm going to be a crook. I'm just going to be a crook because you know what? What's the point? It's like being told, I'm going to die. I've only got a year left. Well, you know what? I'm just going to go out there and make the most of it and do all the things that, crazy people do. I do have their moments, MJ, because, I don't think you can have that reassurance and belief so certain that you can survive and cope with anything and then not have that little thing that just says now and again, do you know what, Matt? Do you know what? It might not work, and then what? What are you going to
do? Always a fail-safe, always a plan B. There's
absolutely.
Always a
plan B. Well, I say this: I live my life with a plan B. I don't live with plan A. You see, if I live a plan B, then A is always a surprise, and a nice surprise generally. Do you know what I mean? I never live a life of plan A. Never. There's no more room at the top.
I believe that I have to do everything approximately 3 times. If I get it done by the 3rd time, I'm amazed. The first go is like a bit of a practice run. The second go is usually it, but if it takes 3, that's pretty normal. That's all right. So I think it is about acceptance. That's what for me, right? The having is believing that I've got it. Comes from the acceptance that what I wish for is possible. And if it isn't here yet, then there are ways for me to create it, manifest it, work towards it, whatever way it is. It's just not here yet. So when people come back, at work, we work with Access to Work. And to be honest, like anything with the government, they're a law unto themselves. So when they come back and they say no, it inevitably means not yet. And so it's helpful for people when they realize that actually, yes, is just another decision away, because they watch these miracles happen. And Adam's seen that miracle, Christian's seen that miracle. I see it every day, so I'm blessed. And I think that when we realize that everybody else's no at the moment becomes yes, that means everything's possible, because the only reason that I'm doing what I'm doing is because of the decisions that I've made. So anything is possible. Maybe if it doesn't work, and we need a plan B. Maybe tomorrow I go and plant myself in Cardiff Centre on the floor and beg, because I see people do that and they achieve it and they're alive and they're doing okay. So if we have to go from here to there, so I've never begged. I've done Guy Fawkes, but I've never begged. Well, I suppose that's the same thing. So I have begged. It's just a matter of going back to the same thing. And I didn't, it's not a killer. So I think that anything is possible means that you have to go to those extremes. Like, right, I'm going to go and drive my van on the autobahn and see if I can do 120 miles an hour. All those things. You have to think about possibility. Otherwise, you couldn't think about what was possible. I couldn't think about being from, the weight I've lost, the capacity of my movement, the reduction in drugs, without seeing possibility, because nobody believed in possibility. Like I said earlier, they didn't even ask my family about putting a DNAR on me. That can't be. Well, I know it's not now. It's not legal. But they didn't believe in me, right? Because seeing was believing for them. All they saw was that I was already chronically ill. I was now, quite physically. I got double pneumonia, double pleurisy. I get it. I get why they did what they did. And I even, in that course yesterday, I even heard a doctor say, and I get him, he said, look, for the 8 beds that we kept these patients in who we withdrew treatment for after 6 weeks, their time in intensive care could have served, and it was something ridiculous like 4,100 and something nights of somebody's care. But how do you compare somebody's time or somebody's potential? Or, well, you can't. You can only look at what you've got in front of you. So they made a decision based on that. But I still think that we make decisions every day based on that in our own life. We see the result and we go, well, clearly I haven't graduated. I'm not worth £1 million. The kids aren't all settled and sorted. They haven't got their own houses. I don't work 2 days a week. I'm not in the Bahamas. So therefore I can't be that, can I? I think we all do that every day. This must be my lot. Well, that's absolute rubbish. I remember going at 15 and seeing Billy Graham, who's at the end of the day a pastor from the middle of nowhere, in deepest, darkest, wherever, in America. And he was stood in Hillsborough, actually, and he commanded an entire stadium to get on their knees in front of him. Now, I'm sorry, but if you can wake up and decide that's what, hang on, I'm going. If you can wake up and decide that's what you're doing, I hope I haven't just got deleted from here. Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, there we are. There we are.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can wake up and decide that as your life, and then go and command a stadium of people to get out the chair and come and get on their knees in front of you on grass, then anything's possible, isn't it? Anything's possible. Now I know that they were all driven, and I was driven, and I went forward, and I was baptized by full immersion at 15. Believe me, I've gone down every spiritual path to find what I believe is my truth. And the only thing that I've come up with after all of it, Quran, Bible, baptized by full immersion, people speaking in tongues, you name it, the whole shebang. I was, Bible school and all of it, literally. Green belt, going away with the church, the lot. But I'll be honest, the only thing I can really believe in is that I am interconnected to everything and there is no separation. The rest of it is subjective interpretation. That bit is, for me, irrevocably the state of being. So I just want to hand it over, because we've only got 20 minutes, but I want to hand it over to the 2 gentlemen, because at the end of the day, actually, they're in a greater position than either you or me, because I'm in a difficult position. I've been doing this stuff for 30 years because I've had to. I was born with disabilities. I had to find my way through the system. The system kept surprising me by being shit. I kept surprising it by not going away. And eventually, I worked out some roads through, a bit like drawing a UK map. Now I know the A roads and the M roads. It's not so surprising to me when I go down the M road and they go, sorry, we got a diversion today. You're going to have to take the A24. All of my clients are like, I don't want to go on the A24. I'm like, it's all right, because we'll get back to the M1 in a minute. These guys have seen every agency, and I think that's health, education, and social care, pivot, turn, twist, and alter their response to what reality is. and both of them are in a different position. I don't know whether you want to talk about what you believe in, Christian or Adam. I don't know who wants to share first, but I think reality is what we make it.
I was brought up in a Christian household that wasn't really Christian, because all they ever did was go to church to be seen going to church in the neighbourhood, if that makes sense.
Of course it does.
I went when I was very young. I went to a boys' school. I had to go into a chapel every morning and say prayers and sing hymns. And because I was very young, and because all these older people, I was respecting them, listening to their wisdom, and it kind of, you become convinced that that's what's real. And then, having gone through several roller coaster times in my life where I've been down some fairly dark places, I don't know. I think I woke up one day and just dismissed all of it. I think I agree that we're connected, MJ. I think there is something bigger than just little humans running around on the surface of the planet. And I think we are all part of something that we can't see, we can't physically tap into, but we can with our hearts and our souls and our minds.
100%.
And I think I am not now in any way religious, and I think I've gone overboard on my anti-religion mindset to the point of challenging people in the street when they've got their placards and their leaflets, and I will engage in conversations with them and ask them what on earth they're doing, standing there with leaflets, brainwashing vulnerable people in the street. Politely, I'm never rude, but I like to ask them, where has this come from that they are so committed that they will do that in the pouring rain? But I do believe there is something bigger than every single one of us that's not necessarily guiding us, but it's just, I can't explain it, to be honest. It's a feeling. I have my own moral compass. I know what's right and wrong. I don't go around killing people. Not usually.
If you do, let me know, because we have to tell the police. It's the rule.
Can I just jump in there? I don't kill anyone, but the potential was there.
I've not killed anybody.
That's what I say to people. I say there's really good people. There's really good people in the world. There always has been. And those really good people have been really pushed in the last 3 years, and they are at the invisible barrier. It's called the law. We can't see it until they turn up in a police car. But it's going to take a couple of more little strikes, and then there's going to be mayhem. We're going to see some craziness in this country, It's an absolute craziness. But I love what you just said, Adam. Thank you for that. It was really good.
I think we are all good people, and we all have the potential every single minute of every single day to make good decisions, to do good things, or to do the absolute opposite and be horrible and do bad things. And you have to reflect on what you do in life and learn, was that a good thing to do? Did I hurt somebody, or did I make somebody's day wonderful?
Yes.
And I like to think most days that I haven't hurt anybody, I haven't upset anybody, I haven't caused anybody to question my behaviours, and I try and do the best I can pretty much all the time, as much as I possibly can. But sometimes when I'm vulnerable and weak and tired and exhausted, and I do get depressed, I suffer with anxiety, so I sometimes may do things that I look at later and think, oh, that wasn't really clever, you silly boy.
I think we all do. I hope we all do that. Otherwise, I'm really bad.
That's just being human. Being human, isn't it? Because we're all a big mess of all emotions.
Yeah, we are. Exactly what we are.
Sometimes, we can be like a ball in a pinball machine, bouncing around all over the place. And some days it's a good result, and some days it's not so good. But I generally try and do the best I can.
Yeah, I love the I like to hold my attention to my intention, and I don't know why I like alliteration, but I do. But when I hold my attention to my intention, so I'm going out for dinner tonight with Dr. Bakes. Actually, she's now the EDI lead for Wales. So we're going out for dinner because we've got things to do in Wales. We talked about it. We planned it. She went off and finished her training. I'm getting in the thick of mine. We know what we're doing. We know where we're going. We've got the plan. We knew that we both had lots of work to do. We went off and did that. And then, now she's just been announced as the EDI lead. I've just been nominated for an award. We're doing things together, but we're doing them separate. But we had a plan. Both of us go and do good things. Lesh is a GP in Wales who's had a tough time learning. She thought she was going to pass last year. She didn't. She had to go back again. It properly knocked her. But I was in Wales and I met her 2 years ago. Now we went to London together. We went and saw Pete Cohen, my coach. And I knew we had things to do. And so I believe that this connected thing has to be the case. The same as when I met you, Adam. And we knew at the beginning that, according to them, it wasn't the case that you and I were going to be able to dance together one day. But we know damn well we can now.
We will.
And that reality has been created by the fact that we both believed in it and we both embarked on it together with the knowledge that we were in it together, whether we got it or we didn't. The process was we were in it together and we were going to that third stage. We were going to the end together, whatever the answer was. And that's why I say I think we're better together, because when you've got somebody that believes in the road that you're on, and you've got a shared understanding in where the destination is that you're planning on heading, like me and Lesh tonight, and you can share that belief together, that's what gives it energy. That's what I believe. I think that thing where God said, or the Bible said, or people said, or they worked out that when two or more people got together, God existed. I am is God. So when I am there and we are there, when it's about us, because that's all there is, because the rest of it is made up. I know I sound like I'm being really annoyed because I just find it so simple that I don't understand how I never worked it out. And I don't understand why I didn't understand. And I don't understand why it's so complicated. But I guess you have to go somewhere weird like I did in COVID. So I haven't even got started yet, because the truth is I've not done anything about the NHS decision. I might not. We have to choose our battles. We've got the NHS to resolve, and that's a big one. I think devolved is the right word, Christian. Devolving that responsibility and not taking on the UK as a whole, but maybe taking on an idea in Wales, which is that actually the universal approach, I'm telling you now, out of all the approaches we've got going on, and there's some crap out there, it has to be the beginning. I don't see another answer. And I'd love somebody to come up with one that told me any different. But I don't see how we create a world that isn't about a country, an experience, a service, down to a process that doesn't include everybody. Now, that sounds impossible. But I'm not saying that we're not going to get it right. We're not going to get it wrong. But inclusion by design, designing inclusion into processes, making it a design part, teaching it to engineers and to administrators and to HR, making sure it's a given that everybody gets an opportunity, not lip service bullshit, not this, not that, but that we know that. Well, then I just think that we have a possibility. And I think that Wales, well, I remember seeing Mark, whatever his name was, Thatcher, there we are, going off and carrying out a coup. I was like, now then, that's what you call possibility, isn't it, Matt? What? My life isn't working. What shall I do? I'm going to go and take over a small country. I think that's a bit harsh, Mark. His mum was not happy. Margaret, she wasn't my favourite woman, but she wasn't happy with Mark trying to take over a small country. But I think coming to a small country in order to expose, I think that's the word, espouse, to explain, to prolificate, to expand, to emancipate an idea that is that everybody should be included, that a universal approach is a reasonable way to build a community. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think I'm gonna carry out a country coup, but I do think that I'm going to say to the UK, look, I've seen what you've done with social prescribing, and anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's where we take away the experts because there aren't enough of them, and we make the UK citizens, England particularly, go and see people that aren't very well qualified but have been given a rule book, and they have a look in their playbook and they go, oh, you're a child with autism. Locally in this area, I could signpost you to here, 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 and here. Let me help you by phoning them. That's called social prescribing. And it's a brilliant idea because I helped write it. 15 years ago, England took it on and they turned it into lip service bananas. 90% of it is just people getting paid for holding information to give people an address. And sometimes that works, but it doesn't always work. And you and Adam are examples of why social prescribing doesn't work and why you need a much more structured and much more handheld and much more focused advocacy support, right? So I think we do need a universal approach, and I think Wales is the way forward, and I think me and Leshmi are the way to do that. But it has to be based on one decision. And when I met her and we had dinner, we based it on the decision that we both wanted to affect change. She's Asian, is she? Where's she from? I think she's not. She's English born, but I think she's English born. I think she is. She's born in Wales. I think her family's Asian. I think her experience has been that she's not white. I think it's not easy. I think mine is that I'm disabled. That's not been easy. And together we know that health and social care isn't the thing that we want. She's just starting to do social prescribing, but doesn't know a lot about it because Wales have just started it, and England have made a bit of a hash of it. So what I'm hoping to do, I guess, is I think there's that song, isn't it? Sunglasses or sunscreen. I want to take out yesterday and rehash it and see if I can make something better out of it. I'm not sure I'm going to, but what I do know is that I'm in an environment where I know the game. I know the kind of road that they're going down, because what we're doing in Wales now, interestingly, they did in England 15 years ago. And what we're going to do in Wales is what they're going to do in England in 15 years. So I literally, and I've had that phrase said to me, what we are doing in Wales in health and social care, they will be doing in England in 15 years' time. And I'm telling you that what they're about to do in Wales in social prescribing is what they've been doing in England for the last 15 years very badly. So we're at a precipice. We're at a moment when we could affect a little corner of the Four Nations and show people, like Scotland's doing, and talking of Scotland, what's like Scotland's doing with the universal approach to the personal independence payment changes for disabled people. They're taking a universal approach. They've opened the transitional relief fund. They've opened the independent living fund again. They're giving disabled people the opportunity to go out. They're going to have investment in the infrastructure so we can actually get on a bloody train. We can't put me on a tube yet, but we can put a man on the moon. So, I think England and Wales are going to be showing England a thing or two, and two right, because that's why we are the Four Nations, and that's why we should never separate. And I would say that, Ireland needs to get the bloody move on. That's what I'd like to say to Ireland. Get a bloody move on. Because what they're doing in autism in Ireland is disgraceful and needs to be upheld as disgusting and abhorrent, and it must be resolved. And they're part of the Four Nations, so they need to now get with the programme. But I'm not bastardising anyone. I'm just saying that out of the four of them, come on now. England's not great. Wales, I have to say, pretty much up there. And Scotland are in many ways beating us hands down. And inclusion is talking about inclusion, is going to BASWA. And BASWA this year is in Christian?
Edinburgh.
We're going to Edinburgh. So BASWA, or BASRA, as Alexia calls it, the British Association of Social Workers, not BASRA, Alexia. It's not that bad. It's a bit of a minefield. It's a bit of a war zone, but it's not BASRA. BASWA in Edinburgh, and therefore together we're better, aren't we? So inclusion is going, and we're going, and our title is Welsh for Voice. Which is LLAISS, which I can't say. Haze, I can't say it. But it means voice. So, Christian, I think you've got a voice now in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's fascinating listening to everybody. I was about to agree with Adam when he talked about religion. I went down a slightly looking for a sort of way to go, I suppose. And we went down when I was younger, a religious way, and joined the group, and I started to get imbued with it, imbibed with it, and then there was what snapped me out of it. And please, if anybody's listening is religious, this is, you believe, you whatever you want to believe is for you. So, but it's a personal opinion. But we had a girl who had cerebral palsy in, and they decided to try and heal her and hold a night to heal her. And my mind just went, yeah, no, we this, it doesn't, you can't, you can believe what you want to believe, and this is my belief, is that you can believe what anybody's free to believe what they want to believe, but once you start affecting others, and then with that belief, then if they don't necessarily want to believe that, you've got to, you can't project yourself on other people, especially not when you're saying to somebody with cerebral palsy that you will be, if you come and sit in this church overnight, then in the morning you might be well or okay, but who's the arbiter of that? And that's why I left that and joined the air training corps, which is like from one thing to the other, but and found people, but
like-minded people.
Yeah, like-minded people with rifles and aeroplanes. Anyway, but I did see a completely different, and it, and I say, and it snapped me out a bit because I was going down a very sort of, they were under belief, and now my beliefs are my beliefs, if I could say it. But if you start in any walk of life, you start sort of taking on other people's, completely taking on somebody else's belief without your own thought processes on it. It's just not yours. It's just not yours. It's just not yours, and that is. Let's be honest, I could get really political here, but that's the way that a lot of the country is run. That this is what you are to believe, and I know pretty much that the four of us here don't describe that. We want to look, we want to challenge, we want to see, we want to and make sure that is there for the individual, as long as it doesn't then negatively impact another individual, obviously. But as as an inclusion, we are including everybody. We talk to everybody, and then we all raise each other up, but not based on sort of belief in one thing, but as a platform. Raise each other up on a platform, and that's why we so until I met you, MJ, and until you opened the door for me to do what I'm now doing, then the door, I was in a so what's the word? Not a hole, 'cause that's not right, because it wasn't. But I was in a holding pan, to use an aviation term, and then which is
becoming, being, not becoming, maybe. But I know you feel that. Your dad was saying last night, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but the fact that he just feels like you're fulfilling exactly what you've always meant to be doing. That'll do. That'll do. I don't care whether it's about money or about what you contribute and what you're not. As long as you're doing what you always felt that you should, that has to be. I think that for me is where it's at, because I realised yesterday, every day, if all of this disappeared, as Matt said, it makes no difference. I really did. I listened to he's not my keenest man in the world, but I listened to Grant Cardone going, look, they've put me in a field or whatever. They put me with nothing and no money and I think $100 or whatever, and I turned it into this much in 6 weeks. I know that's the same. I am aware that whatever you do to me, wherever you put me, as was Viktor Frankl in the death camps, it will be what it will be, and I will tolerate what it is that's coming. Now, I think that's when you know that believing is doing, because I believe in it because I know I will do it. I actually believe myself, and because I keep doing what I say I'm going to do, my brain believes me, and therefore I just become better at doing it, even when we are dancing in the rain because the shit's hit the fan and things haven't gone to plan. But I'm really
glad that. Can I just say, sorry to interrupt, that
okay.
when I do what I say I'm going to do, my brain loves it, and I think equally we need to understand the opposite to that, because it's the opposite to that that drives us more away from the opposite to that, which is the brain hurts when you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, because it remembers and it remembers and it remembers and it remembers. And we've employed how many people over the years, young people, young girls, young boys, doesn't matter. And you watch their temperament. And over a period of, say, 27 years, 28 years in business, we see the same patterns in people, especially females, because there's a cycle, happens once a month. I'm not saying it's always about that, but you do occasionally find them getting upset and withdrawn in themselves, and be like, oh, and then I'll start crying. Be like, hey, what are you crying about? Oh, I don't know. I'm just crying. I'm like, do you know what? I've learned over the years that the more you keep saying you're going to do something and you don't, like your room, I will tidy my room, and you don't do it, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt more and more and more. And eventually we're going to have a malfunction, which is, in our eldest, she's a culprit for that. She's a victim of saying she's going to do something. And the pain of that, watching her, it's like, wow. But I'm so glad I'm skilled, I'm experienced to be able to pass that wisdom, that information onto her, that she can then do something about it when she's ready. If you don't want to hurt anymore in the brain, stop hurting it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I love that.
And that's how we see what we're doing. And that's why it's not that we have to believe in it. We have to go and do it. And then it's obvious it's going to happen. It really gets that simple. And when it does, you're like, oh my, really? I went to school. I did degrees. I went and learned subjects. I went and understood how the human body was put together. And actually, all I had to do was do what I said I'd do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know it sounds a bit more simple than it is, but it is that simple. If you want to see what you're going to create, go do it. Have a great day. I hope that everybody wants to go and donate, because the sooner we can produce this first entrepreneur, the sooner I can present it to the UK government and go, see, I had to produce a telethon because it's not equal yet. Are you embarrassed enough now? And then we'll be successful. I'm very excited. I'm just going to say it as it is. I've had enough of sugarcoating. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic weekend. I'm going to go and coach now. Thanks for joining me. You've been in Inclusion. You've been in Belonging in Business and Inclusion. And I'm going to be in Clubhouse on Monday after 6 o'clock. I'm lying. So if you want to be in MJ's on Monday, we're all over the place. We're also at BASWA, and we're going to be at Disability Expo. Good God, we literally are. Well, we're a pandemic. Christian, we've done it. We are the global pandemic, the only one you want to be part of. So we are from Inclusion. We're also in Inclusion at 7 o'clock on Monday night. And then we've got a webinar at 8. And the webinar at 8 is so jaw-dropping, mind-blowing, outstanding. The shit I'm going to give away is terrifying. And people need to know it because it's all about them. 8 o'clock, we've got a webinar and we're giving it away. Well, we're not. We're letting people donate. So if you want to come to a webinar, come to Inclusion. Come and see me. Find me on anywhere, not really. And I'll be talking about it. And Christian will have a link. So if you need to know how to pay us, get to that link. If you want to pay us some more for Monday night, contact Christian. Not that one. That's the other one. That's the duck in the corner of my room. Christian, don't contact the duck. It's not going to do anything. Don't do anything to Adam because he's just hanging around at the moment, and Matt's on his way. I reckon Matt will be seeing us this summer, and we've got an event on the 29th of March. You see, I'm everywhere. It's ridiculous, and I can't wait to see you in a little while, Christian. We've only got 27 days till we get to have a hug. Right, I'm going now. I've got to go and coach. I'm very excited. Thanks for being here. And if you only do Belonging in Business, we'll see you next Saturday at 8 o'clock. And in between everywhere else. Take care, everyone. Bye. There we are. We've ended. Ha ha. All right. Thank you for coming. You're absolutely amazing. I can't believe James was there. Now I feel like shit because I couldn't see you, James. Bollocky bollocks. Hang on.
I'll put him on.
How crap is that?
Don't worry, mate. I only got up like 3 or 4 minutes. Only got out the shower about 1 minute beforehand. I literally just was at the rugby till late. So I got a lift home last night. I didn't have to walk, but yeah, I can't be in every day. You need other people to speak as well.
Oh, I have to say this. Late, and I'm late. I love you loads.
You go away, and I'll talk to James.